Hello and welcome to Solidworks Station. My name's Stuart and in today's tutorial we're going to look at creating this piece of sheet metal work. Now there's a few things that we need to do here in order to produce this. First of all, we need to look at producing this forming tool. Once we produce this forming tool will then be applied to our piece of sheet metal. Once we've applied that, we're going to look at creating a jog in the sheet metal and also looking at creating this teardrop hem, and finally we'll look at creating the text on this face. As always, if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask those below in the comments section and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. The very best of luck and let's get started. So the first thing I've done is gone to File and then New, and I'm going to go to Part and OK. I'm going to go into my top plane. I'm going to go to Normal 2, Sketch. I'm going to sketch a center rectangle. From the origin, left click, move our mouse out and left click, and let's smart dimension this up with values of 200 and 200. Now this is going to be our sheet of metal. So we need to go to the sheet metal tab and base flange tab. We'll just left click on that, and sheet metal parameters, we want this to be 2mm. Our bend allowance we can keep at 0.5, and our auto relief we can also keep at 0.5. Once you've got these values in, you can press the OK button. Okay, so just looking at our image, okay, we've got to look at creating this forming tool. That's going to be our next step. Once we've created the forming tool, we're going to apply that forming tool to our sheet of metal, which is currently at 200 by 200, and then we're going to look at producing the jog, the hem and the text. Okay, so I'm going to go into File, I'm going to go into New, and I'm going to go into Part. Okay, so from here I'm going to go into my top plane again and Normal 2, and I'm going to sketch another center rectangle. I'm going to give this some smart dimensioning, 180 and 180. I'm going to go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, and Direction 1, I want 10mm. I'm now going to go back into top plane, Normal 2, Sketch, Center Rectangle, and I'm going to produce a 75 by 150mm rectangle. Okay, I'm going to give this some fillets, so I'm going to go up here to Sketch Fillet, and I'm going to put a value of 50 in there for my first fillet parameter. Left click, left click, left click, left click. Okay, and green tick. I'm going to go back and change this now to 20. Left click, left click, left click, and left click. Green tick. I'm now going to produce some circles, so I don't need any more fillets, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to Circle. I'm going to just track my line across, so I'm not left clicking, so I'm just going to the origin, hovering my mouse over the top of it and just moving to the right hand side. You can see a blue line that's tracking it. This is very useful in Solidworks. Left click and left click. Okay, so I'm going to give this a smart dimension of 10. And I want to dimension this from the outside at 20. I'm going to go to linear sketch pattern, and in the x-axis I just want 1, so I don't want that repeated in the x-axis, but in the y-axis I would like 4. Entity to pattern is this circle. Okay, the spacing's wrong there, so I need that at 20. Okay, 4 instances of it at 90 degrees. Perfect, green tick. And let's do that in the -y now. So we're going to go to linear sketch pattern. No repeats in the x, 4 repeats in the y, reverse direction, and up the distance centers to 20. And green tick. Okay, I'm going to extrude all of this now. So just come out of my sketch, click on my sketch, and go to features, extrude. I'm going to extrude this by 10. Now that's going down at the moment, so I need to reverse direction. Okay, and green tick. So I'm going to go up to fillet, 10 millimeters, using this fillet type, the constant size fillet, and I'm just going to left click on the face here, and green tick, and then I want to go back up to fillet, change my fillet parameter here to 5. I'm just going to select the top and the bottom edge, of these. Okay, and green tick. Perfect. So our forming tool is near enough created now. We just need to turn this into a forming tool. Okay, the pattern's made. It's just a case of turning this into a forming tool and applying that to our sheet of metal that we made earlier, that was 200 by 200 by 2 millimeters thick. So let's go back into Solidworks. We're going to go into sheet metal. We're going to click on forming tool, and it's asking us for our stopping face. Our stopping face is going to be this face here. Our face is to be removed. Okay, we want to remove completely each one of these filleted cylinders. Okay, leave this. Okay, we don't want to remove this section. We do want to remove these sections. So have a little look at our image. You can see this section hasn't been removed, but these sections have been removed. So back into Solidworks, green tick. Now over here is our design library, and you'll notice here I've got forming tools folder. Okay, in a previous tutorial I have gone through how to set this up, but I will go through it one more time. So all the stuff that's in here, I'm just going to right click and delete. Okay, I'm going to delete this folder as well, so right click and delete. And I'm just going to show you what it should look like if you've not set this up. So you're going to add a file to a location. Now on my desktop, okay, I've got a folder here that's been set up called forming tools. Okay, so create this on your desktop to start off with. There's some tutorials out there that tell you to set it up in your program files, Solidworks, and you can set up a forming tools folder within Solidworks. I just have mine on my desktop. So forming tools, and OK, and you can notice now forming tools appears here on the right hand side in the design library. If I click on that, there's nothing in that folder. So we're going to save this, okay, as a part, just in case we want to change it in future, and we're going to save it as a forming tool as well. So file, save as, save it in my parts to start off with. So I'm just going to call this forming tool for sheet. Oh, go back, desktop, parts, forming tool for sheet metal. I'm going to save it as a part. Okay, now I'm going to go back into File, back into Save As, and change Part, this time to Form Tool. I'm going to find my desktop, so I already found it, and Forming Tools, and I'm going to call it the same thing, Forming Tool for Sheet Metal 010, and Save. Now if we go back into our design library and click on Forming Tools, you'll notice it appears here in the section. This is really helpful for when we flip over to our piece of sheet metal that we drew earlier. We can literally get hold of this and drop it straight onto our sheet metal. So let's go ahead and do that. In Window, we're going to open our part. We didn't close that before, so it should still be there. There's our 200 by 200 by 2mm thick piece of metal, and we're going to go to our design library, to our forming tools, and there's what we saved, and we're going to literally grab this and just drag it and drop it on top. Now I've still got my left mouse button held in. If I press tab, okay, it will flip it. Okay, now that's actually flipping it. Okay, it's mirroring it in the X plane at the moment. Yeah, so imagine our X plane there is actually flipping it upside down. Okay, to flip it round, keep my mouse button pressed in and just press the arrow keys. Okay, and that will spin it round. Okay, we are going to go with the holes at the top. So in this orientation, and just let go of your left mouse button. Okay, before you press the green tick, okay, here we need to go to Position, Control 8 on your keyboard. We'll do a normal to view, and Smart Dimension this up. So from the center of my forming tool to the edge is going to be 100, and from the center point of my forming tool to the edge is also going to be 100. Oops. Let's do that again. So center point to this edge is going to be 100, and the center point to this edge is going to be 100. Okay, so that's centrally positioned now onto my sheet of metal. Okay, so now just green tick and green tick. Perfect. So we've got the features that we said we wanted to remove, and we've got the feature that we wanted to say we wanted to keep. We've now got to create our jog. So here's our jog. We've got to create our teardrop hem and our text. So click on the surface we're interested in, normal 2. Go to Sketch, Line, and draw a line straight across our sheet metal. Smart Dimension this up. I want this to be 40mm away. Tick. And we're going to go to sheet metal now and jog. Fixed face is this one. There's our fixed face, 10mm, all these options here are fine. 45 degrees, jog position, yeah, bend center line, perfect, yeah, fix the projection length. If you change this, by the way, the fix the projection length, change this, just take it off, okay, it takes the 10 millimeters off the overall distance of our sheet metal, okay, again, just to show you, 20, okay, it would take it off. Fix the projection length, okay, it keeps the overall length the same. So let's keep this at 10, and let's keep fixed projection length, and green tick. Okay, next we're going to place our hem on here, so we're going to go to hem, click on our edge, choose teardrop, perfect, 200 degrees, 0.5, that's the radius, okay, and 200 degrees there, alright, is the angle inside. Okay, green tick. Perfect, and now just for our text, so click on the surface we're interested in, normal to, sketch, a centre line, draw a centre line across here, let's smart dimension that up, so from here to our edge we want to be 5 millimeters. We're going to go into text, select our line, type in our text. Our text is too small at the moment, so we're going to go into font, untick this box first, go into font, change our height units to 10, better, green tick, go to features and extruded cut, and we're going to extrude cut this by 0.5 millimeters. And green tick. Control 7 on your keyboard. Let's give this some colour now. So appearances, scenes and decals. Let's drag solid and orange. Drag it straight on. Make sure you select body. And there you have it. We can render this if we want, so we can go into Solidworks add-ins, ensure that Photo View 360 is turned on. If this isn't here, Solidworks add-ins, just right click and just ensure that it's ticked here. Go into render tools, again, just ensure that it's ticked in this list here, so you can see there render tools is selected. The appearance we've already changed, okay, but if you want to change the colour, for example, you could in here. You can edit the scene, so you could say different scenes that we've got here. You could have a, I don't know, factory, drag and drop that onto the background. Then you could go into just green tick that, final render, and just give this a minute to render out. I'll pause the video there and come back to you once this is complete. Okay, and there we have it. There is our sheet metal work. We've looked at a forming tool, we've looked at areas that we want to cut out using the forming tool, areas that we want to keep, we've looked at a jog, a teardrop hem, and placing text onto a sheet of metal using the extrude cut feature. Hope you found that helpful. Any questions or comments, leave those below. And I will see you again soon for another video tutorial from Solidworks Station. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Many thanks and see you soon.